Hi everyone, I'm Alexis Eftimiou and football has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. Growing up in Greece, I was that kid who'd finish school, grab a ball, and head straight to the neighborhood pitch. Those after school games weren't just fun, they were where I first learned about teamwork, creativity, and how much I loved the sport. I worked my way up to county level football in Greece, but I felt I wasn't improving as quickly as I wanted. With university studies ahead of me, I made the tough choice to step away from playing competitively. In 2014, I finished my marketing degree, but football was still at the back of my mind. I knew at some point I'd find a way to make it my career. That chance came in 2015. I made a big move, left my family, friends, and everything I knew, and came to the UK to study for my master's degree in sport management at Coventry University. It was exciting but also challenging. A year later, after struggling to find work that covered my bills, I took a job as a sports coach in South London schools and nurseries. In 2017, I started volunteering at Clapham United Women's Football Club, running short warm up sessions. It was a small role but gave me a chance to learn and get comfortable in the proper team environment. By 2018, I was coaching the European Football Academy B team for under 10s and under 12s while working on my UEFA Level 2 license. Around that time, a friend from QPR Academy invited me to help out with his FC football coaching team, and I also became head coach of the Athenians men's team for the first time. It was busy, but I was learning fast and really starting to grow as a coach. By 2019, just before COVID, I became a partner in the FC football coaching team. We built our sessions in the park from 20 players to 80 in just 6 months. Then COVID hit. That pause made me realize I wanted to focus more on my coaching skills and explore different styles of football. In 2021, I joined the Chelsea Foundation, Juventus Academy London Under 10s, and the third team at King's College Women's Football Club. It was a year of trying new things, learning different approaches, and expanding my coaching toolbox. In 2022, I took on Juventus Academy London new under 18s in the JPL League while starting my UEFA B license. But with only 14 players and poor attendance, I had to step away. A few months later, I joined the Pure Academy under 18s and again faced the same issue. By 2023, I had a bit of a low point mentally. I felt like every team I joined couldn't give me the environment I needed. Eventually, I went back to the European Football Academy to coach their under 16 South London team. That was my first full season with one squad, and even though players' number dropped after exams, it was still a good learning experience. Then in 2024, before heading back to Athenians, I joined the Chelsea Football Club International Department, and that's been an amazing experience. Over the past year, I've traveled to different countries, coached in different kinds of environments, and introduced kids around the world to the Chelsea way of playing. Working with players from different cultures has really pushed me to adapt and grow as a coach. In 2024, I returned to Athenians Football Club as a head coach. Said yes straight away. It was the right move for my career and for my own mental well-being. This season, what we have achieved together has been on another level, both for the team and for me as a coach. When I look back, my journey's had highs, challenges, and a few unexpected turns. But through all of it, football has been the constant. The thing that drives me, connects me to people, and inspires me to keep learning and improving. And that's who I am today. Athenians Football Club started in 2019, just a bunch of Greeks in London who love football and wanted to meet people from everywhere. Their aim is simple: have fun, play fair, and make everyone feel part of the family. At Athenians, we coach with four core values in mind. First is discipline. Players follow the team structure, stick to the game plan, and maintain focus. Discipline in training translates directly to discipline on the pitch. Second is respect for teammates, opponents, referees, and the game itself. We make sure every player feels valued. And as a coach, I lead by example. Third is teamwork. The team always comes first. We encourage selfless play, building trust and strong relationships within the squad. And finally, hard work. Success is earned through relentless effort and commitment. Players give their all in every training session and match. As I like to say, intensity, intensity, intensity. Hard work is the foundation of growth, resilience, and achieving our collective goals.
Πολύ κρύο όμως. Τα ίδια.
Very good team, very good coach, very good mindset.
Τρέχω κι εγώ, βλέπετε. Έθνο με φλάκα δεν είναι απλά κατά την εστία. Παίζω και σαν λίπερο. A lot of exercises, a lot of fitness, which we really like, and I think we will be ready for the new season.
So I think the season following will be much better than last one.
Φέτος βλέπω τους Athenians να ετοιμαζόμαστε καλά και πάμε το πρωτάθλημα.
Chelsea or Athenians?
Athenians.
Putting my philosophy into practice starts with clear communication. I make sure my ideas and expectations are shared with the players and the board so everyone is aligned. I also try to lead by example, whether it's showing discipline, respect, or teamwork. I make sure my actions match what I ask of the players. Finally, we evaluate and adapt constantly. I assess our approach during and after sessions, gather feedback, and make adjustments to keep improving. That way, the philosophy isn't just words, it becomes part of how the team plays and grows together. At Athenians, our primary style is direct play. We focus on getting the ball forward quickly, using long balls, crosses, and fast transitions to exploit spaces behind the opposition. Physicality, of course, is key, winning second balls and dominating the aerial game. We keep the game simple to reduce mistakes and maintain momentum. At the same time, we're flexible. We analyze our opponents and adapt tactics when needed. Sometimes we mix in counterattacks or pressing, and players are empowered to make decisions based on what's happening on the pitch. This gives us an edge and keeps the team unpredictable. Our main base formation is a fluid 4-3-3. We adapt depending on the opponent and the flow of the match. Against easier team, we often go 4-1-2-3. This gives us strong control in the midfield. Against stronger teams, we shifted to 4-2-1-3 with two holding midfielders. This gives us more defensive stability. And when we need to protect a lead, we'll tie it up into a 4-5-1 or a 5-4-1. Compact, discipline, and very hard to break down. It's all about being smart and adapting to what the game demands. When we're in possession, we keep things direct and efficient. We want to move the ball forward quickly, create chances, and take advantage of spaces behind the opponent. The formation and approach can change, but the mindset is the same. Play smart, play fast, and be ready to adapt. Out of possession, it's all about discipline and compactness. We don't give teams easy ways through the middle, and we press them with purpose when the moment is right. Every player knows their defensive role, especially in set pieces, where organization is key. In transition, we want to be ruthless. When we win the ball, straight away we look forward and attack before the other team can react. But when we lose it, it's about buying time, reorganizing fast, and shutting down their counter before it starts. When I first took over, there were 3 big challenges we needed to fix straight away. First was fitness level. After about 60 minutes, our intensity dropped off completely. We couldn't sustain the pace we needed. And with my philosophy of direct football, which is high tempo, high pressure, and high energy, that's just not sustainable. So from day one, improving fitness became a huge priority. Second, the playing time approach. As a community club, the culture before was that everyone played at least 45 minutes, no matter what. But it wasn't helping us build a winning mentality. So I changed it. Playing time became something you earn through commitment, discipline, and performance. That shift actually kept some of our best players from leaving because they saw the club becoming more competitive and ambitious. The third, clear philosophy and discipline. Before, the team didn't have a consistent style of play, and players weren't fully sure of what was expected from them. I introduced a clear way of playing, and I drilled down the roles and responsibilities, not just for each player individually, but for the unit and the team as a whole. We did repeated presentations, lots of role-specific guidance, and that built a real sense of collectiveness and accountability. To fix the fitness problem, we started with something new for the club: ergometrics testing. We measure flexibility, technique, power, speed, and endurance using methods from professional football research. Every session became high tempo to match game demands. No slow drills, always sharp and intense. On Thursdays, the first hour was dedicated purely to speed, endurance, and fitness, built around our direct football style: short burst, quick recovery, repeat efforts. We also run yo-yo tests for every 4 months to track progress and keep standards high. This turned us from team fading after 60 minutes to one still pushing hard at 90 minutes. To change the playing time approach, I started by meeting each player one by one. I asked them simple questions like: why do you join the team? What's your aim in football? What does success mean to you? These conversations helped me understand their motives, ambitions, and personal goals, and it built trust. From there, we moved from equal minutes for everyone to minutes earned through performance, effort, and discipline. This shift encouraged commitment, raised standards, and helped us build a true winning mentality. One of the first things I introduced was a clear philosophy with defined roles and responsibilities. Every player was drilled on their job in all phases of play, from building out from the back to transitions and set pieces. We held regular team Zoom meetings to review past games, talk through upcoming changes, and keep communication open. I also shared video analysis and pre-game talks so players could visualize exactly what was expected and connect the theory to what happens on the pitch. This made sure that everyone, no matter their position, understood how they fit into the bigger picture. At the start of my time here, pre-season was very short, just 2 weeks. Because of that, my first priority was organizing how we defend rather than how we build from the back. But about 6 weeks in, after finishing our defensive block on wide areas, it became clear that we desperately needed a structured way to play out from the back. When the ball was with our goalkeeper or centre backs, we were too static. There was no coordinated movement, no clear plan to progress the ball, and no signs that the team understood the set method of building play. In the next clips, you'll see examples of those early struggles. The team was used to play long balls all the time, over and over again. So as you can see from the first clip, although the players are having an overload on our side of the pitch, on our half of the pitch, they still want to play long to the other side. So on the second pitch, same thing happens. Instead of trying to create numerical advantage on one of the sides or try to recycle the ball back with the help of the CDM, they want to play again long. As a result, the team loses the ball. So on the third video, we try to play with the ball down, try to progress the ball with short passing, but still there is no options because the players in the middle, they're not moving properly, or they're not moving with purpose, which is really important. And the last video, the fourth video, again, no purpose movement from the midfielders. Why we're doing that? What do you want to create? What's your trigger to the opposition? No, this thing is not happening, so we managed to lose the possession again. And on the last game again, and on the last video again, as you can see, from a throw-in, we try to build, pass the ball to the CDM instead of passing ball to the center back, for example, and switch the play. Our right back is way too close to the middle, to the center of the pitch, which should be wider for me. Our right center back is way too close in the middle. He should stretch, so I throw him back and we can switch the play. But the players couldn't understand the situations, so as a result, they pass to the CDM, we lose the possession, and we concede a goal. From these clips, a few key issues stand out. First, we lacked patience. Instead of moving the ball to draw the opponent out of and create overloads, we often rush forward or force passes under pressure. Second, there was no clear evidence of shared playing identity. Players weren't on the same page about how we wanted to build. Third, our defenders and midfielders showed limited tactical awareness in these moments, not enough coordinated movement to open passing lanes or create angles for possession and progression. Finally, support play was inconsistent. Players off the ball weren't offering enough short options, which left the ball carrier isolated and vulnerable to losing possession. Up until then, I wanted my team to play direct football, but I didn't have anything concrete on paper. I needed a way to visualize our style and, by understanding my players' individual characteristics, figure out what would work best for us. I've always had huge respect for what De Zerbi achieved at Brighton. I started thinking about how adapting some of his principles could fit perfectly with our own team. The goal was clear: to create a structured approach to build-up play that aligns with our philosophy of direct, high-intensity football. This meant focusing on patience, positional awareness, and exploiting space effectively. By visualizing this process, I could translate our ideas into something practical that the team could understand and execute on the pitch. The first core principle is to attract pressure in order to progress. We start with short passes from the goalkeeper and centre backs, inviting the opposition to press. Patience is the key here. We wait until the opponents commit numbers forward, which opens up space behind them. Next is the idea of the third man and rotations. By using third man runs and positional rotations, we can disorientate all the defenders and create dynamic passing options that keep the build-up fluid and unpredictable. We also made an adaptation. Instead of dropping two strikers like the Zerbi 4-2-4, our wingers drop during the build-up. This allows us to create central overloads, drag opponents out of shape, and provide vertical passing lanes for our centre-backs. To bring our ideas to life, I started to really fantasize and put everything down on paper. I mapped out where each player should position themselves on the pitch, when to move and combine with teammates, and detailed roles and responsibilities for every position. After 6 weeks of work, the players had a clear understanding of how to progress the ball, when to move to create advantages, and how to execute our build-up in line with our philosophy. The next few slides show the concepts I presented to the squad. It was crucial to ensure that everyone was aware of what we would focus on in the upcoming weeks, giving the team clarity and confidence to implement our ideas on the pitch. The 6-week program, playing out from the back, starts with week 1, introduce the concept and the roles of the goalkeeper and the centre backs. Week 2 focuses on building from the defensive third, reinforcing the week 1 and adding the central defensive midfielder responsibilities. Week 3 works on wingers and attacking combinations, creating overloads in the final third. Week 4 teaches players to manipulate opposition, pressure, exploit space behind lines and make quick decisions to create advantages. Week 5 covers striker, attacking midfielder, and fullback roles, emphasizing supporting runs, transitions, and wide overloads. And week 6 integrates all roles in the 4-2-3-1 formation, refining movements, decision making, and positioning in pockets of space for effective build-up. I'm going to try to explain to you the way that I used to play out from the back. Usually the teams that I'm facing, they play against a 4-3-3, which suits really nice on our formation and the way that we want to play, but we practice on adjusting the way that we're still playing the same way and the same principles are going to apply, but we have some different triggers when we're playing the 4-4-2. Okay, maybe we try to go faster to the other side, play more direct. Okay, so the main principle is we want to pin their fullbacks. Okay, so number 11 is gonna pin number 2, number 7 is gonna pin number 3, because we want depth and width. So our number 10 is gonna try to pin their CDM, so he's not gonna go there and block the channel. Okay, so he's gonna stay centrally. And what we're looking for, 3 against 1 with the help of CDMs, try to move the striker on one side. With the help of the CDMs, if we cannot play this ball, okay, we create an overload on this side, and if someone jumps, we find him, we find the player that is matching him. Okay, so in the scenario that there is a player here blocking inside, we said again that we're gonna pass the ball to number 2. Number 2 then is gonna receive pressure, then we pass back, and then we play through. Okay, we try to manipulate their midfield line. So when this happens, our 7 is having plenty of space in the middle, so he needs to make a curve run here, potentially to receive the ball. Okay, forward, and then he play forward if number 3 stays. Okay, while the ball is traveling though, number 2 is making the run behind. Okay, so it could be a pass to number 7, a pass back to number 8, so himself, and then a pass over the defensive line, and then we go from there. Okay, or if we can see that this player dropped too early and he attract him, number 2 needs to recognize the situation and needs to make the run, so we can play long straight away. Okay, so for us the trigger is, I feel that their wingers, usually most of the teams, their wingers are too lazy to go back and defend properly. So we want to attract them to our side, and then when we attract them, we try to break the lines. Here we see our first goal against Southside. The opposition misplaces a pass and our CDM wins back. In line with our philosophy of direct play in transition, he immediately plays to our number 10, who bounces it back because he's under instant pressure from their centre back. Now comes the key movement. Our number 6 makes a dummy run as if he's going to drop in to receive. This attracts their midfielder, creating the trigger we're looking for. Our centre back then finds the winger who has moved inside. Our 6 changes direction sharply, receiving straight from the winger, and then plays a perfect way through ball to the striker, who finishes for the 2-1. The important principle here is how we invite the pressure to open space behind. Our CDM engages their midfielder 1v1, manipulation his opposition, and creates the vertical passing lane to break their defensive line. This is exactly the type of intelligent movement we've been working on. Now the second goal shows our progress in building up from the back after 6 weeks of work. We emphasized patience, and you can see our centre backs are not forcing the ball forward. The left centre back has no forward option and calmly recycles to the right centre back. Our winger then cuts inside, which draws their fullback out of position. So our fullback recognizes the space and pushes high up the pitch. The right centre back finds him in the vacunated channel, So as their left centre back sweeps across to deal with him, this leaves our striker and left winger in a 2v2 situation in the final third. From there, the numerical advantage allows us to create and finish the move for a goal. This goal is a perfect example of patience in possession, recognizing the triggers and using width and movement to progress the ball effectively from the back. So to summarize, both goals demonstrate key aspects of our training focus: patience under pressure, provoking the opponent with intelligent movement, and exploiting the space that opens up as a result. In the first goal, the manipulation of their midfield line allowed us to break through centrally in transition. In the second, control build-up and smart position create overloads out wide, leading to penetration in the final third. Across both situations, we see how our principles translate into goals against high-level opposition. So these are the coaching points that work in both goals. Patience in build-up. Center backs, they don't rush to play forward, waiting for the right trigger. Positional awareness. Fullbacks and wingers recognize when to move high or when to move inside to exploit the space. Trigger recognition. Movements designed to provoke a defensive action. Numerical advantage creation, using intelligent movement to create overloads in key areas. Exploiting space behind, drawing players out of position before playing into the vacated space. Direct, purposeful play. When the movement to go forward comes, the ball travels quickly into the danger zones. At Athenians, we believe in shaping not just good football players, but complete players. Our vision of the future player is built on the foundation of the four corners model, ensuring holistic development both on and off the pitch. To build the future player, we also focus on the core skills that drive performance in every match: cognitive, perceptual, and motor skills. First, the cognitive skills. We train decision making under pressure, sharpen technical awareness and game intelligence to develop the ability to anticipate both opponents' and teammates' actions. Next, perceptual skills. Players improve their visual awareness and spatial recognition, learn to time runs and position themselves effectively, and read the game to create new opportunities. And then motor skills. We build agility, balance and coordination, refine tactical execution in passing, dribbling and shooting, and ensure physical efficiency and stamina. This is where skill meets movement. By commanding these three areas, we create players who are intelligent, adaptable, and consistently high performing, ready to excel in any match situation. Let's start with Ruben Alves. Ruben is a 35 years old centre back with exceptional physical and psychological qualities. He's a rock in defense, scoring a median of 18 in physical and 17 in psychological, making life incredibly difficult for any attacker. If you look at the chart on the right, it gives a general view of Ruben as a player. What we see is that while he's strong across most areas, there is still room for improvement when it comes to the technical side of his game. On this slide, I've highlighted the core qualities that are crucial for a top-level centre-back: defensive skills, positioning and awareness, physicality, ball skills, mental skills, and leadership. When we look at these metrics, Ruben is already performing at a very high standard in all of them. This gives him a solid foundation to build on. On the third slide, we have priority areas for development. Here we are diving into Ruben's medium points. As a centre-back, we've identified three priorities areas for improvement. First is passing, second decision-making, and third communication. In addition, there are some secondary areas we're targeting: first touch, ball control, concentration, and leadership. On the next slide is the action plan. This slide outlines how we're helping Ruben develop in these areas. For passing, we're using possession drills, short passes under pressure, quick combination, and first touch exercises. To improve decision making, we include small side games where he needs to react quickly in dynamic situations. Tactically, We've done extensive video analysis sessions to review positioning and in-game scenarios. And from a psychological and social standpoint, we're encouraging Ruben to lead the back four in training, give feedback to fellow defenders, and actively engage with feedback from the coaching staff. This holistic approach ensures that Ruben is improving not only his technical skills, but also his leadership and communication on the pitch. So let's move to Priamus player profile. So looking at Priamus' profile, we can see that overall he is a well-rounded defensive midfielder. His strongest areas lie in composure, concentration, positioning, and leadership. These allow him to act as a stabilizing presence in the midfield. His technical ratings in passing and first touch are also solid, giving him the ability to connect play and recycle possession under pressure. While his defensive awareness is strong, some physical attributes such as balance and strength rate slightly lower, which highlights where we might need to focus on our development work. On the next slide, for a defensive midfielder like Priamos, there are 6 critical areas of importance. First, defensive skills such as tackling and marking, which allow him to break up play effectively. Second, positioning and awareness, where he must read the game and anticipate danger. Third, his physicality, strength, stamina, agility, and acceleration, which enables him to hold his ground and cover large areas of the pitch. Fourth, ball skills like passing, first touch, and ball control, which are vital to help the team retain possession and transition quickly. Fifth, his mental skills, composure, determination, and concentration, which keep him consistent under pressure. And finally, leadership and teamwork, since as a CDM he needs to organize, communicate, and influence those around him. These 6 pillars form the foundation of what makes a complete holding midfielder. On the next slide, we're going to see areas for improvement. While Priamos has many strong attributes, there are some clear areas for improvement. His physical side is where the rudder highlights weakness. He needs to improve his strength, balance, and agility, which are essential for winning duels and maintaining control under pressure. In addition, his tackling technique and his level of aggression can be improved to ensure he constantly wins the battles in the middle and he sets a tone in the midfield. Finally, his communication can be developed further so that he can take more responsibility in organizing teammates around him. These areas represent his top priorities moving forward. And on the last slide, we're going to see the action plan for improvement. To address these gaps, we created a structured action plan for Priamos. On the technical side, we'll focus on the tackling skills to sharpen his timing, along with first touch and ball control exercises under pressure. So tactically, we use scenario-based training and video analysis to improve his positioning, marking, and decision-making in defensive transitions. Psychologically, we'll work on his aggression and concentration, helping him stay consistent in high-intensity moments. And finally, socially, I'll encourage him to develop his communication and leadership by giving him more responsibility in organizing the midfield during small-side games. By targeting these areas, we aim to rise Priamos into a more dominant and reliable defensive midfielder. The next player is Odysseas Bassa. Odysseas is a young winger with strong attacking attributes. His radar shows excellent ratings in dribbling, pace, shooting, and creativity. He has the raw ability to break down defenses and create chances from wide areas. His technical qualities such as first touch and crossing are also developing well. However, his physical and defensive attributes are not as strong, and this imbalance highlights where he needs to grow in order to become a complete player. For a winger, there are 6 key categories that define effectiveness. First, attacking and technical skills, dribbling, shooting, passing, and ball control, which give him the tools to beat defenders and create chances. Second, tactical awareness, including positioning, vision, and decision making, which allow him to make the right choices in the final third. Third, physicality, where speed and acceleration are vital, but strength, stamina, agility, and balance also play a big role. Fourth, ball mastery and first touch, as a winger must control the ball cleanly under pressure. Fifth, mental attributes such as composure, determination, and confidence, which separate good wingers from the great ones. And finally, leadership and teamwork, since wide players must coordinate runs, support fullbacks defensively, and combine well with strikers. On the next slide, we're going to see the areas for improvement. The rather highlights where Odysseus still needs to develop. Physically, he must build strength and balance so he can withstand challenges and hold his ground. In terms of mindset, he can improve his aggression, make him more assertive when pressing and in one-on-one duels. Another important area is communication, where he must take more initiative in linking with teammates. While his attacking instincts are strong, his decision-making and defensive contribution also needs refinement to ensure he becomes reliable in all phases of play. The next slide, we're going to see the action plan. To help Odysseus reach his potential, we've set the structural development plan. On the technical side, he'll work on first touch and passing under pressure, along with heading practice to increase his versatility. Tactically, he'll focus on defensive positioning and decision making in the final third, using scenario-based training and video analysis to sharpen his awareness. Physically, we'll add strength and resistance training, as well as balance and core stability work to make him more durable in duels. Psychologically, we'll encourage confidence and composure by giving him responsibility in attacking plays. And socially, we'll develop his communication and leadership by assigning him roles in small-sided games where he must organize and connect with teammates. This complete approach will help shape him into a more consistent and effective winger. Overall, looking at the group as a whole, there are many positives to highlight. One of the biggest strengths of my players is their professionalism. They consistently arrive on time, prepared and ready to work. Throughout training sessions, they stay focused, follow instructions carefully, and show commitment to everything we do. I also see a strong sense of teamwork, with players supporting one another and working well in groups. Their work ethic during drills is excellent, and they bring a positive attitude, determination, and willingness to learn into both training and games. At the same time, there are some areas that we can still grow. When players get tired or placed under pressure, maintaining focus becomes more difficult, and their decision making can suffer. Communication on the pitch is another key area for improvement, particularly in competitive games. Confidence level can drop after mistakes, and some players struggle with controlling emotions in high pressure moments. In addition, the speed of reaction when under pressure, balancing aggression with discipline, and transition quickly between attack and defense are areas we will continue to target in our training. Overall, the players already demonstrate strong habits and commitment, which provides a solid foundation. By addressing these improvement areas, particularly decision making, communication, and emotional control, we can take the team performance to the next level. My coaching philosophy is built on teamwork, discipline, and the consistent application of the principles of play. While those foundations never change, I make sure to adapt my approach to fit the realistic capabilities of our adult players. First, training sessions are always challenging but achievable. I want players to push themselves and improve, but I also want to keep session within the limits of their age, fitness levels, and recovery needs. Second, I look to leverage the experience. Unlike youth players, these players bring strong game intelligence, positional awareness, and decision-making skills. My role is to create an environment where they can use that experience effectively on the pitch. Third, I set flexible expectations. I recognize that not all players will have the same physical or technical strengths, so I adjust certain demands to ensure every player can contribute effectively without unnecessary risk of burnout or injury. Finally, I maintain a focus to continuous improvement. Even when intensity or training volume is adapted, players are still developing, whether that's improving their technical ability, deepening tactical understanding, or building team cohesion. This approach ensures that our philosophy is applied consistently, but always in a way that is suitable, motivating, and realistic for the squad. When it comes to my coaching style, I use a balanced approach that combines both autocratic and democratic elements to get the best from my players. On the autocratic side, I provide clear instructions and structure during training sessions, and on the democratic side, I actively encourage players to share their ideas and feedback. I also base my coaching around the 3 Ps. The first is the player. I always focusing on the individual's growth, well-being, and personal development. The second is the process, emphasizing learning, skill acquisition, and improving game understanding. And finally, the product, the results we achieve together as a team, which reflect our preparation, hard work, and strategy. This blend of structure and participation allows me to create an environment where players are both guided and empowered, ensuring progress while keeping them engaged and motivated. The plan do review cycle has been central to my coaching this year. In the plan stage, I set clear objectives and design drills based on our philosophy and player needs. In this stage, we focus on execution, applying those plans in training and matches with intensity and teamwork. Finally, in the review stage, we reflect on what went well, what needs improvement, and how to adapt for the next session. This simple cycle ensures that every session is purposeful, effective, and part of continuous development. When I design a session, I start with a clear title and objective. I then set up the area and equipment and highlight the key coaching points I want the players to focus on. Each session has a progression, so it develops in challenge, and I always build around the 4 corners: technical, tactical, physical, and psychological. Finally, I end with a review checking what was achieved and what we need to improve next time. This keeps session structure purposeful and linked to our philosophy. Reflection and reviewing has been very important to my coaching this year. After each session, I review what worked, what didn't, and speak with players for feedback. Recording sessions has also helped track progress and plan improvements. This makes training more effective, tailored, and aligned with our philosophy. Throughout the season, I used a variety of practice formats to keep training effective and engaging. We work with small-sided games for realism, functional practices to focus on roles, technical group drills, and 1v1s or 2v2 exercises to sharpen individual skills. On Sundays, we also dedicated time in the warm-up to improve agility and coordination, giving players an all-around development. This year, I've grown as a coach in several areas. My critical thinking has improved, helping me analyze situations and make informed decisions. I've developed clearer coaching pictures to communicate how I want the game and training to look, and I'm better at on, around, and away coaching, guiding players both on and off the ball. I've also built a more structured philosophy linked directly to principles of play. But there's still many areas I want to improve. I want to add more variety in training formats, especially small-sided games, to keep sessions realistic and engaging. I also aim to grow as a motivator, balancing guidance with player autonomy and be more consistent in seeking feedback to accelerate my development. This season, we reached new heights as a club. We achieved our highest ever league position in League One Market Road and set a record with 58 goals scored, the most in a single season in club history. On the cup front, we were winners of the Sven-Goran Eriksson Memorial Cup and the Barcelona Tournament 2025. We also reached the semi-finals of the Ken Doherty Memorial Astro Cup, marking the club's best ever performance in that competition. A huge thank you to everyone who supported me this season. To my girlfriend, thank you for your support, for coming to matches and sharing the highs and lows. To my players, your attitude, commitment, and hard work had made coaching a privilege. To the board, thank you for trusting me, supporting operations, setting up the video system, and offering guidance whenever needed. To my family abroad, thank you for watching our matches and for the meaningful conversation after each game. Thank you all for being part of this journey.